Hello then everyone, I'm Kai, I'm from Netcompany, so my name's Kai Qureshi. I'm a senior infrastructure consultant here at Netcompany. So that is a very vague title. What I do changes day to day, project to project, but I do a multitude of things. One of them is a very techie thing where I build infrastructure, I build monitoring. Some of it is management side, so I'm a little bit more of a people person as well. I manage a team of developers, a team of DevOps engineers. So very interesting. So one of the things I'm talking about is why a career in tech. The main thing I want to talk about is what tech is, what a career in tech looks like. So it can look very different for very many people. We have one of my colleagues, Peter, sat over there in blue, who is a manager. So Peter is responsible for people management. He still works in tech, but he's very people-orientated, whereas you have people like me who are very techy, who enjoy the actual, the nitty-gritty side where we sit and we work on code and we work on infrastructure and building things. So it's a very different field. You don't have to be a techie person to work in tech. It's a very varied field. You have project managers, infrastructure managers. You just have several different things. We have developers, data engineers, consultants, developers, many things, yeah. So one of the things I've learned while working in tech is the fact that you can marry your interests outside of tech with tech itself. So one of my big hobbies was I was a very big math nerd. I always enjoyed maths. And I didn't realize how much of that went into tech until I started working and started developing and understanding how code is written, how binary works. So you get to marry different interests together. One of my big hobbies now is engineering, which is similar to tech, but different enough. And I've married that by learning robotics and AI. One of my big passions is I write code for building AI. I'm currently building my own little Roomba because I can, because it's fun. So that's one of the big things. I'm like, go into it with an open mind of what's available. Don't go into it in the mindset that, you have to be a techie person or you have to enjoy computer science or dev or any of those things. There's a lot more part of it. One of my closest friends at my company is a project manager. She is the most non-technical person you will ever meet. She regularly calls me for help using Excel, but she works in tech. That's the kind of thing about it, is that she doesn't have to have that knowledge because she has a team around her that will provide it. You don't have to know everything. You just need to know what you know, and you'll bring something to the table. That's one of the big things at Netcompany, is that we want you to bring what you can to the table, and we'll provide the rest. You'll have a team, you'll have a support system, you'll have a structure, and that's how tech works. You'll always have that kind of environment around you. And also, just because you've studied something at university doesn't mean you can't go into tech. One of our previous marketing managers at Netcompany studied nanotechnology and yet worked in our marketing department. It's a completely different shift. Your degree does not dictate what you do as a career. So choose, if tech is something you're interested in, go into it. It doesn't matter what you studied. We have people who have PhDs in history who work in Netcompany. History teaches you analytical thinking. Those skills still resonate with tech. All of these things are transferable. Look at what skills you have and see how they transfer into tech, and see where your passions grow. That's one of my big kind of things. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous. I'm not great at public speaking, in case you haven't noticed. Yeah. So that's kind of what I wanted to send across, is that you can, and also tech is an ever evolving field. There's always expansion in it. People are developing it constantly. So it's a perfect time to jump into it if that's something you're interested in, because you're joining at a really good time where things have grown a bit, but not enough. They're consistently expanding. There's more growth. There's more growth to happen in the next 10, 15 years. You've seen, if any of you have an interest in robotics, look at Boston Dynamics. Look at what they're doing. That's 15, 20 years down the line, they're going to have amazing things. And the same with Netcompany. The expansion is going great. AI, robotics, tech is evolving into much greater things, and it's being used more and more in multiple things. So one of the things is it's being used in healthcare. So I work very closely on projects for the NHS. I was part of the team that built the COVID pass that was used after COVID happened, and the pass was that you guys probably all still use for traveling. That's a thing that was built in a very quick time period and very quick turnaround by a lot of people that weren't necessarily technical. a lot of the people that worked on it were project managers and consultants, but not necessarily developers or engineers. So everyone brought something different to the table, and that's what you need to think, what you bring to the table, not necessarily, because you don't want a team of all developers, because you'll get nowhere. You need people with different mindsets and different views and different backgrounds, because that's how you develop and how you build a bigger team. That's kind of it from me. There's not really much else for me to say. If there's any questions, feel free to kind of grab me once I get off stage. Or if you want to ask while I'm on here, feel free to. Your mute mic's not working.
It's not working.
There you go.
Just a quick question from me. So if you've got no tech background at all, what would you advise somebody here to do to get into tech?
Depends what you want to do. So if you want to come in as an engineer or as a consultant, like at Netcompany, so if you come in as an infrastructure consultant, Microsoft have some amazing courses that you can do that help you build up that infrastructure knowledge. If you want to go into development, start learning languages. So one of the key languages I always tell someone to learn, and it's probably one of the harder ones, but it's the basis of a lot of other languages, is C++. So if you want to become a dev, C++ is amazing. But also see what other roles are available in companies that are tech companies. So we have project manager roles, we have junior analysts, operators. You can work your way up. You don't have to start at the top role. You start at the bottom and you work your way up. So like an analyst role is always really good, and an operator role is really normally very good to start off with and build your knowledge. And then when you start working with techie people, ask for their advice, ask what they're working on. So my passions are very much engineering side. So I have attended several robotics courses. My intention is to go study that further on. And so find where your interests lie. But if you pop into the Netcompany cab, little box, I don't know.
Shell scheme.
Yeah. And then we can discuss a little bit further into what your interests are, and I can probably direct you a little bit better. It's a bit vague when I don't know where you want to kind of go into.
Thank you very much indeed.
Cheers.